There have been numerous times where players have just not lived up to expectations due to health, attitude, or just plain bad luck. Sometimes the player you pick just doesn't develop into what you thought they would, but whose fault is that? The first finger to point at is normally the organisation for picking a rotten apple, with the second at the coaching staff, but I beg to differ. In this video, I go into the 3 most important internal things that decide how good a basketball player turns out and why sometimes the goods don't come out as advertised.
Brogdon and Henson. Nurkic. Give me that. Yes! Beat it out and away! Beat it up! Give me that! You know who you're messing with!
Growing up playing any sport, there's always that one kid that argues every call, hustles for every ball, dives on the floor and ends the game with scrapes and arguments. Essentially, this kid just plays hard all the time. Later on, this characteristic builds into what is called a high motor. Maximum effort, every game, every play, every second. A good example of this is Marcus Smart. One of the peskiest defenders around, Smart's effort and high intensity make him a valuable asset for any team. He recently took Gordon Hayward's starting spot on the Celtics, which seems to have fixed their lineup issues instantly due to his instant energy from the tip. A great example of a high motor is Giannis. Since he entered the league, Giannis has given effort on defense, chased every ball and hustled for points. So who lacks a high motor? A common example that comes up is AndReW WIggIns, because he was a YouTube sensation and next in line to replace LeBron, but has barely improved since his rookie year. It's a shame how much pressure a 40-second video can put on a player's career. 2 more obscure choices that many might remember are former OKC teammates Hasheem Thabeet and Perry Jones III. The consensus on these 2 were that they had super high upside but questionable motor issues. Hasheem Thabeet was the 2nd pick in the 2009 draft ahead of James Harden, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Drew Holiday. You name them, they were probably there. A 7'2" giant with a 7'6" wingspan, many might have thought he could have had a Rudy Gobert-like impact on defense, but it never clicked. Hasheem never played more than the 13 minutes a game he did in his rookie season and continued to ride the bench for 3 more teams until exiting the league in 2014. Perry Jones was considered to have the highest upside of any player in the 2012 draft class and was the 7th ranked player in his high school class. He possessed guard skills and athleticism of a freak-like nature, but his stint at Baylor was underwhelming, forcing him to stay another year, which didn't bode well. His motor just didn't match up to the athleticism and his skill set. Nonetheless, in 2012, he was drafted to a loaded Thunder team, fresh off a finals defeat, and the league once again thought the Thunder had unearthed another gem. Unfortunately, playing with KD gave him very minimal opportunities, his best effort coming in a 32-point loss to the Clippers in 2014. He was traded to the Celtics, where he was waived, moving down to the Iowa Energy of the D-League, where once again he was waived. What was a tantalizing high school prospect, all but forgotten.
Davis plays the defense without the foul. Jarrett Jack, what a pass! Laying it up and in! Oh, Steph Curry threaded the needle!
You often hear coaches tell players to have a short memory, meaning don't think about the misses, just shoot it. Forget about the mistakes. We know it's your bad. Focus on the next play. What this really is a method to boost a player's confidence. If there's one thing every successful player has, it's confidence. Self-belief that they belong and that they are here for a reason. For examples of these types of players, you just need to look to the greats. Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Shaq. The most dominant players ever to play the game, but without question, also the most confident. Unfortunately, this can lead to many players failing to produce or improve to the standard we might expect. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist won an NCAA title with Anthony Davis in 2012, famously taking the 4th and 5th most shots on that team and going 1 and 2 in the draft. Whilst Anthony Davis has soared to superstardom, number 2 pick Michael Kidd-Gilchrist has faded, and perhaps this may have been foreshadowed by his college coach, who said Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was scared to death. In a series of texts, Kidd-Gilchrist told his old college coach that he may have made a mistake turning pro and that he didn't think he was good enough. Kidd-Gilchrist is an excellent example of someone with a high motor, but unfortunately his confidence has impeded him from progressing. His shooting has particularly suffered, and that is all down to mentality and confidence. We all remember the famous picture of the Lakers free throw practice board with Dwight shooting 82%, the same as teammate Pau Gasol, yet only hitting 44 in game. Confidence goes a long way, and in basketball, this is no exception.
Tim holding, now starts his move, spinning, fadeaway jumper off the glass, it's good. The bank is open.
Beautiful, hold it up. Oh.
Most people would say maturity comes with age and experience, which is true. However, in the realm of basketball, there are certain experiences on and off the court that can lead to players to develop maturity much quicker than others. Luka Doncic, on one hand, shows great maturity for his age, given his long-term experience as a professional. For a 19-year-old, he makes much better decisions than other rookies his age. NBA teams sign veterans for this very reason, to guide younger players and teach them how to maintain a high level on and off the court. This maturity enables them to make smarter decisions and keep their calm in close game situations. Another solid example is Malcolm Brogdon, aka the President. Spending 5 years in college allowed him to come into the league and start contributing to a playoff-bound Bucks instantly in his rookie year, with his consistent performances earning him the NBA Rookie of the Year. On the other hand, one of the most talented players still playing and could never quite put it together is Michael Beasley. An ambidextrous 6'10" scoring forward, Beasley dominated college, averaging 26 and 12, shooting 54% from the field and 38% from 3. Picked second in 2008 by the Heat, he looked to be the perfect sidekick to Dwayne Wade, but his constant off-the-court issues and persistent drug problems have let his talent fall by the wayside. Playing for 9 different teams in 10 years, including 2 in China, it would be interesting to imagine what the NBA would look like had Beasley had the maturity to apply himself to the NBA game. Yes, I know some players don't need all 3 to become legends. There are special cases out there. And just because players like Fultz lack confidence now doesn't mean he won't pick it up eventually. I mean, look at Derrick Rose. To be successful, you'll have to have some semblance of all 3 characteristics. They could kick in or drop off at any given time. So, given that, have you fulfilled your potential?